Alien abductions. It's a phenomenon which has risen in popularity from the 90s. These events often share commonalities, such as missing time, body and or mind examinations, typically against the experiencer's will, UFO encounters with greys, as they're known, or even some of the other types of aliens, and symbolic imagery. In today's episode, we wanted to share with you some stories which appealed to us greatly and maybe have a little discussion around them. And this is likely going to be the beginning of a multi-part series. So stay tuned and listen in to some alien abduction stories.
There is a medicine story that tells of Crow's fascination with her own shadow. She kept looking at it, pecking at it until her shadow woke up and became alive. Then Crow's shadow ate her. Crow is dead Crow now. Join us as we attempt to look through the wandering crow's eye to find the gateway to the supernatural, to seek to know the unknowable mysteries of creation. Welcome to the Wandering Crow Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Mandy.
This is Abby.
This is Cameron.
This is the wannabe abductee, JT.
Wannabe abductee.
Oh, nice.
Welcome to another episode of The Wandering Crow. Now, for social media.
If you are a big fan, which we know you are because you're listening, don't forget to subscribe, download the episodes, comment, and leave a review. Please give us a 5-star rating. If you have a story you want to share, you can reach out to us in many ways. We have social media, we have an email address, and all the links are available in our show notes.
Thank you for that, JT. And now, back to the show.
You know, typically this is a subject that I'm not super interested in. I'm more interested in the quote-unquote paranormal. But I was actually kind of surprised in my readings today that the alien abduction phenomenon has kind of shifted away from the notion of purely physical beings beaming you up onto a ship and is starting to lean more into more of a metaphysical, interdimensional sort of quality. So I thought that was interesting. That's just some of the reading that I did. What did you guys find?
Should we talk about the fact that 3 of us are from Arizona and we have, well, Abby's from Arizona technically, but she's not in Arizona right now, but we have a really famous abduction story.
Oh, right.
But we're going to dedicate an entire episode to that.
Mm-hmm. JT and I have done some field research on that.
Yeah. Oh, you have? Cool.
Mm-hmm. We went out to the site.
Also, where I am...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Where I am is apparently where the first documented sighting of the Men in Black is. And where the 1948 flying saucer, the famous original flying saucer story came from, was somewhere outside of Rainier, Mount Rainier.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Rainier is a wicked hot spot. Like, there's a lot of stuff. But real quick, JT, did you want to say the name of that famous Arizona abduction?
Oh, yeah.
Travis Walton. My daughter is dating somebody from the same town he's from.
No way. Can she get us an interview? I reached out to that dude. I messaged him and I didn't get a response back.
Sure.
Yeah, I can see if he knows anything about it. I mean, does Travis Walton still live up there? Should we just go up there and start knocking on doors? Are you Travis Walton?
Walton.
Yeah. Just start screaming.
Come give us an interview, dude.
We have questions.
Anyway, stories time. Okay, so who wants to start with some stories?
After familiarizing myself with John Keel's work, reading the Mothman Prophecies,
which I still need to read,
I became aware his career was that of a prolific and reasonably credible UFO investigator. And he was very connected, well-traveled, well-read. I mean, he really put together a lot of interesting connections. And I thought, surely I can find some sort of article that he wrote about abductions and how. He really, really goes through old stories and history that he has come to believe are probably alien abductions from long ago, hundreds of years ago.
Okay. So wait, is John, he is a believer, right? I'm just refreshing myself, but he thinks that it's not what people think it is, right?
Yeah.
He thinks it's...
I think he was one of the first, probably not the first, but back in the 60s, he was suggesting that aliens, UFOs, they're actually fourth dimensional beings. They're not extraterrestrial. He called them ultra-terrestrials.
Right. I do remember you saying that. Okay. I definitely got to read this book. Like, we talk about it so much now.
And he has a fun voice in his writing.
Okay.
The book is a little chaotic because he writes it in the style of trying to write things in chronological order, but he also injects flashbacks of moments from his past, which informs what he's going through at the moment and why things make sense to him and all of his know-how. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. This one is from July 24th, 1972, titled UFOs and the Mysterious Wave of Worldwide Kidnappings. It's a very long article, multi-pages, looks like it's more of a magazine publication. He begins the article by sharing a story of, quote-unquote, scores of youngsters aged 9 to 15, disappearing in Via Vela, Brazil in December of 1969. Approximately 2 months later, February of 1970, 4 of the children reappeared. They were the only ones to ever be seen again. 2 were blindly wandering the streets and had amnesia, and 2 were able to recall little spotty memories of their ordeal. So he says they were stopped on a street by a large American-style limousine, and once inside were offered, presumably, drugged cigarettes, at which point they lapsed consciousness. One returnee recalled that he awoke in a small hut, hands and feet tied, and that a stranger entered, freed him, and told him how to get to the nearest police station. The other who could remember was a girl named Vani, who identified her kidnapper as Laura. Laura fed her sweets and then took her to a field where an airplane was waiting. But Vani began to struggle and make a fuss, at which point Laura gave her some money and returned her to the village. So he's a funny guy because he's a skeptic, but he also is such a skeptic that he thinks he doesn't buy into any of the swamp gas kind of stories that the government wants to give you, the weather balloons and all that kind of stuff. He has a whole article where he sarcastically talks about people being chased by the swamp gas and, the weather balloons that are going into 100-mile-per-hour chases with people. And anyway, so in this, he ends this story by saying, there are theories that there was a, like a slave ring going around and they're kidnapping children.
Yeah, a serial child predator. Yeah, trying to human traffic kids.
I mean, and this would be an organized ring if there's huts and numerous people and limousines luring the children. But he ends by saying that he thinks that it could be rather children being kidnapped by aliens. He does say that once the news of these abductions spread, other children who were familiar with the style of these kidnappings claimed that they were also approached by large cars and ran away, narrowly escaping the same fate.
Ooh.
So then he continues the article sharing that large numbers of children have been disappearing for centuries. Often these stories are handed down as rumor or myth, while others have actually been heavily investigated and documented. First example he gives is the Pied Piper of Hamelin, Germany. He says it's more than just a charming children's story. A stranger actually did appear in Hamelin in the Middle Ages, and he did lure 150 children away, never to be seen again. The event is still celebrated in Hamelin each year with a festival.
The Shrutten kids.
They celebrate it?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's witnessing?
Commemorated,
The Pied
I know.
Piper was true? Like what?
That's what he says.
Holy shit.
I thought it was mice that he was leading away.
Yeah.
According
Well,
to the
that was
children's
supposedly a
story.
allegory, yeah.
Right.
Well,
Wow.
it started with mice, but then he didn't get paid, right? So he was angry and he came back for the
That's
kids
right.
as
And
punishment.
he took their children to punish them for not paying him.
Yeah.
Wow.
They failed to
Yeah.
meet the agreement. which sounds very Fae-like,
Learn something new today.
honestly. But continue.
Yeah.
And now the people celebrate as he got rid of all those rotten little goblins.
Yay, we can hear Cameron now. All right.
Oh.
Oh my god. Anyway, continue.
Okay.
Mysterious.
You're blowing our minds.
The next example he gives is one of the original colonies established in America, the Roanoke Island colony.
Roanoke.
In 1585, off of the coast of what is now North Carolina, disappeared magically. Virginia Dare, the first child of European descent born on this continent, was among the missing. The local Native Americans were not hostile and were as baffled by the colony's disappearance as the explorers who searched for it.
Oh, that's interesting. Because a lot of explanations say that they intermarried with the tribes because it was a particularly hard winter or something.
Right.
So-
And see, and that's the thing about the John Keel is I don't have any reason to believe that he is changing the stories to fit his narrative, but sometimes I think he does. Anyway, in the summer of 1967, he continues, a leading Canadian investigator reported that he learned from interviewing pilots and hunters that in a Canadian village of natives, which was only accessible by air, 40 native school children of this village suddenly vanished one weekend. 48 hours later, they all reappeared unharmed, bubbling over with an amazing story that they had been taken by a group of very small men who subjected them to various examinations but treated them very well. When they were released, each child was given a small white cube which was sweet but did not melt like sugar.
Whoa.
Since the village is so remote, so here he's qualifying this. He says that since the village is so remote, direct interviews with the children or villagers can't be done, and so this story must only ever be construed as hearsay. But then he goes on to cite numerous other stories throughout history. He talks about Ireland and Scandinavian tales of little people, fairies and leprechauns who frequently indulge in kidnapping. Sweden has so many little people stories that it's been officially known as Elfland.
Yep.
And he cites a 1668 story during a huge witch craze. Allegedly, 100 children of the villages of Mora and Elfdale were lured by a quote-unquote black magician into the night to participate in strange rites. It was well documented because there were actual trials. They actually put all the children on trial. Some large number of them were actually executed over it, while the others received lashings.
How dare you get kidnapped, children? Die now.
The judge was very surprised that the kids that were all put on trial, all 100 of them gave identical accounts of what happened, including mental telepathy,
Oh my God.
astral projections, strange entities who possessed the power of flight, and amnesia. And then he ends this little section by saying all of these things are familiar ingredients in modern flying saucer stories. So we just thought that would be a good way to kick off our storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
to share the way that he has put together all of these little people stories and these mythological lore and historically accurate disappearings of children throughout the world and time, and how they often share certain aspects with each other. And with that, I would like to pass the torch to the next person, or we can continue discussing.
Well, it's interesting. I've been to Mora, and I wish I
Oh.
would have known about that story when I was there. I could have asked some questions about it.
Heck yeah.
You know the little Swedish horses?
No. What Swedish
Yeah, like
horses?
that's one of the things Sweden's known for, the Dalahest.
Dalahest.
I have a whole bunch around my house. The state is called Dalarna, but Mora is the town by where they're made. But interesting that that story was from someplace I'm connected to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the article goes on and on. I didn't even get around to reading the whole thing before it was time to log on because classically I procrastinated. I feel like you guys have mentioned before, made the connection between little people and the little gray people and how maybe they're one and the same kind of entity. And so similar to Mandy, she discovered that it is becoming a more widespread thought that perhaps extraterrestrials aren't extraterrestrial, but rather they're coming across some other dimension in order to get here rather than across the universe, which strangely enough, I'm going to say makes more sense to me than them. They'd have to travel faster than light speed to get here from anywhere. The whole portals thing, what else would a portal be, right? Other than being able to step through dimensionality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I'm starting to think if there's any explanation, if any of that is real, then that explanation honestly makes more sense.
This is very thought-provoking.
It is.
No, I love it. Good job, JT. New words. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Well, stepping into that segue of the interdimensionality. So here's what led me on this roller coaster of exploration today. And I also procrastinated, but I was surprised to discover the rabbit holes upon rabbit holes upon rabbit holes that we could dive into, which is why I think this probably needs to be a whole series. To begin, here's the explanation. About 9 years ago, when I lived in a house in Chandler, my son was less than a year old and he was just not sleeping pretty much ever. And I was deeply sleep deprived. In our house, we were deeply sleep deprived. So in the moment, I actually pretty much dismissed this as waking dream or just a weird hallucination. I kind of passed it off, but I never could quite forget it because it was so like tangible and real. So one day I'm laying in bed. It's like nighttime. I don't know, sometime between midnight and 4, but I want to say like around 2-ish. Donovan actually uncharacteristically is sleeping. And for whatever reason, there was nothing that I could point to that woke me up, but my eyes snapped open. So I'm laying in bed, flat, and my eyes snap open, and I see this thing standing over me. And it was like, it struck me as being like a praying mantis. It was very, very, very tall, and it had a very, very long neck. It was extremely pale, like white, like the skin was pure white. And it had these huge, huge eyes, and the shape of the head was kind of triangular-ish, and the eyes were really prominent and forward-facing, but they were like human-looking eyes. Like they had whites and a blue iris, like a shockingly blue iris, and black pupils. And when my eyes popped open and I saw this thing, its eyes got kind of big and it jumped a little bit, like, oh shit, she woke up. And I looked at it.
Like all the ghosts in all the stories.
I looked at it and it looked at me, and we just stared at each other for a while. And then the next thing I know, it's morning. And Donovan had actually slept through the whole night that night, which he never ever did. And to the point where I was freaked out and like, oh my God, did he die? And I ran into the baby's room and he was fine. He was just sleeping, shockingly.
Damn.
So I looked and looked and looked and looked. This is crazy. I've never heard of any kind of alien encounter with a being that looked like this before. I wonder if, and I kept looking and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find anything. So I was like, okay, that was definitely just a weird hallucination, right? And so then several months ago, I was doom scrolling on Instagram, and this guy was telling a story about Mantid encounters, Mantis type cryptid or alien abduction encounters. I was like, what is this? So I listened to the whole podcast episode, which wasn't that long, and I wish I could remember what it was. I'll see if I can find it, because I had written to him on his Insta. I like responded. I'm like, holy crap. I thought this was a dream. It probably still was just a dream, but I had a similar encounter that meets the description of what you're talking about. And now I had a name. Now I had a name for Mantid aliens, the Mantid type aliens. So today, that's what I did the majority of my research on, was these Mantid aliens. So I want to show you, this is actually a picture that kind of matches, sort of. It's the most close to what I remember seeing. So I'm going to show you this one first. The only differences are, with mine, the eyes were not pure black. They were human looking, and it was white, like I said, and it had a very, very long neck. In fact, the neck was so long, I didn't have an awareness of its body, just this really crazy long neck. But then for most people, as I'm doing my research, they look like actual praying mantises for most people. And they typically, I guess, wear these weird robes, and there's like this purple sash and like a weird, I don't know, like emblem or like something like attached to the front robes. It's crazy, right? Like I can get behind the fact that that's weird, but there are some interesting stories about it. So now I'm like deep diving, and I decided to go ahead and share my weird encounter or whatever, the dream or whatever it was, on one of the subreddit like encounter stories, just because like, wow, like I can't believe that there is a whole entire community of people who believe that they have had an experience with these guys. So
How validating, man. Wow.
like, well, that was so weird.
Wow.
So that first picture I showed you that looks with the forward facing eyes is a picture associated. It's called the Linda Porter abduction. And I'll make sure that there's a link in the notes. But she says, there was a praying mantis being and light filled room. I remember the being slowly coming around the corner and facing me. He stood very still and simply waited, as if he knew how frightening he appeared to me. Eventually, he began to talk to me, although as yet I do not have any memory of what was said. He seemed to possess a great deal of dignity and gave the impression of being quite old. After he finished saying whatever he had to say, I turned around and he walked me to this room, filled with dense light. The memory ends with me about to enter the room and the thought, translated into the light, whatever that means. It has to do with what happened. So that's the Linda Porter story. And that's pretty much all there is that I could find with regard to her story. But that was the story in my relation to it. So what do you think of that?
I think it's funny that that was the one night that your son was able to sleep.
Right?
We've talked before about how some of these things have a sort of spiritual pressure that can either freak you out or make you want to fall asleep. So maybe this had some sort of telepathic ability in that regard.
Are any of you familiar with Tool's Rosetta Stone song?
I love Tool.
I've probably heard it, but I don't.
It's one of my favorites. It's about a guy who goes through an alien encounter and then he wakes up and everybody thinks he's crazy and blah, blah, blah. But he's describing the entity that he comes in to contact with as having somniferous almond eyes. And Steve and I had to look up what that word means. It means when it makes you want to fall asleep.
Oh.
Somniferous almond eyes. So what Cameron just said took me right there.
The other thing to consider is this is the exact same house where I had that encounter with the brown
lady?
screaming with the brown messy hair screaming and punch me in the chest lady. So like, you know, I was having some things.
It's just a weird area.
I was going through some stuff. So, but I don't know, like to me, seeing these other encounters, and at the time I only knew about Greys, but after that I learned about the Pleiadians, I learned about the reptilians, I learned about the Nordics. The Nordics were the closest, but this thing wasn't human looking, right? So it kind of opened up for me all of the different types of aliens that people talk about experiencing encounters with.
There was a count, there's like 50 of them.
Yeah, at the time I had my experience, I was unaware of that because I was pretty uninterested in the whole alien UFO scene. I still am not, or was not up until today, very interested, but now I'm like super interested. So it was just crazy to me. It's just weird. It's a weird coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. And validating.
Man, my life is so boring. I don't get abducted. I don't see this stuff.
I'm not saying I got abducted. I just had a weird thing.
I mean, still, it was still an experience. I don't have that. I'm like so normal. It's not even funny.
Between the sleep deprivation and obviously something might have been going on in that house, you've got two factors there that you have in common with those experiences.
Yeah.
Two-factor authentication.
Thank you.
Actually, that might fit. Yeah. Anyway.
Like how you look confused by yourself.
Like, why did I even say that? Poor JT. He's like blushing.
Don't know why I said it.
He's like,
Stupid.
edit that out.
Whatever.
But we won't because it was amazing.
I
No.
know.
It made us laugh.
Damn it.
So many times you say things and it's like crickets chirping, but that one made us laugh.
That was good. It was good.
It's a true dad joke.
It was a good dad joke.
It was.
That was
yeah.
exactly.
That was its charm.
Yeah. Anyway, who else wants to tell
What
a
do you
story?
have, JT?
Go, Cameron. Go.
So there's the 4chan alien story where reportedly an alien was going on and he was talking about how there's secret experiments going on around Tempe and that he has his home base where he holds some of his more nefarious experiments in the Tonto forest.
Pause.
Wait, the alien has
Yeah.
a
He's
home base?
reporting on
The
himself.
alien posted it on 4chan.
Oh, the alien is posting on social media.
Wow.
And he posted a selfie, and it was within 30 minutes of that, the website went down.
No.
It actually got shut down for like 8 to 12 hours, and everybody that had downloaded a picture found that their picture was corrupted.
What?
No shit.
Initially, nobody took it seriously. They thought, it was some shitpost or whatever. And they were engaging just to sort of make fun of him. But a few of them saved the picture just to catalog it. But their pictures were all corrupted. And the website went down.
Oh my God.
They found spyware on all of their computers after they downloaded the picture.
Oh, whoops.
But you don't download the picture directly. They screen capped it. So somebody had to go into their computer, find out who saved it, and then attack their computer.
Huh.
What?
Okay. That's pretty next level.
So even if it were a hacker, that's quite an undertaking right there.
And how could you even I'm not familiar with, how can my screen capture on my computer trigger any kind of paper trail for someone to chase down and hack?
Data trail, yeah.
So there was hundreds of
data
people
trail,
coming
thank you.
forward saying that they had done it. They had tried to screen cap it. They didn't download anything straight from 4chan because why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
And they all had corrupted images. And so I'm going to share with you what I've got here. But like,
Yes, please. I'm already deeply intrigued. I never heard about this. So this is in Arizona,
That was
huh?
fun.
Yeah, it was in Arizona. And by the way, Tonto Forest, where is Superstition Mountains? Tonto Forest.
Good point.
Indeed. Wait, where did the Travis Isn't that also Tonto National Forest? Travis
No,
Walton?
it's Sitgraves.
Oh,
Sick
it
Reefs,
is?
okay.
It's right. It's more.
They're
on the
like right next to
Sitgraves.
each other, right?
But they're
Okay.
right next to each other. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like, there's a couple of, and that's my favorite right there. But there's a couple of people that recreated what they had downloaded that day.
The Gumby looking alien.
There's no official picture that exists.
Can you make one bigger so I can see it better?
This one is one a lot of people agree is closest to what it looked like,
Ew.
but it is obviously CG.
Oh, that's
not
creepy.
the real picture.
I see a resemblance to a lizard.
There's a couple of
I
them.
do see the lizard people resemblance.
Yeah. It does have some reptilian qualities.
This one people said was pretty good. They said when you look at it, the original anyway, it made you feel nauseous.
Ew.
It made you
Oh.
feel unwell when you looked at the original picture.
Well, that first one you showed us made me feel gross. I did not like that one.
Oh, look, I love the one where they just made it Roger from
American Dad.
American Dad.
That's it. That's the one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
So they're saying that a lot of the disappearances in Arizona, like the Midnight Society, could be related to this. And that's
Yeah,
also why people
Midnight
go missing when
Productions.
they talk about it.
Tell us more about what he was posting on 4chan.
Yeah, what was
his
he saying
activities.
exactly?
That page has been taken down, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Does anybody recount like kind of what his message was?
I don't know.
Like surely some people kind of remember the gist of what he was saying.
So he basically was.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I just want to. I'm just so curious. This is amazing. And we've talked about the Midnight Production Society a few times. That is something I recently learned about from actually a mutual friend of mine and Cameron's, my former partner. It is something that the homeless community of Phoenix, Arizona talks about a lot. There is this.
That was the first place I ever heard about it too. Yeah.
Was from her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's this organization that is said to stalk and basically hunt homeless people, and people will go missing off of the streets. And there's a lot of theories about what the Midnight Production Society is, but like snuff films, human trafficking, like it's supposedly a really real thing. And it is a big deal among the homeless of Phoenix, Arizona. And she knows that because she's intimately involved in volunteer stuff in that area that is meant to help people who are battling addiction and homelessness. So she hears this firsthand, and there are some stories about it. Like you can find some stuff about it on Reddit and some other areas, but so it's super creepy.
So they're probably involved in dark web kind of
Maybe.
distribution.
There's a lot of speculation among the people who care. And the sad thing is I think that a lot of homeless people feel like people largely don't care. And I don't know how much evidence there really is. So I don't know how much there is to actually investigate. And unfortunately, when homeless people go missing, there isn't usually somebody to send off an alarm and say, hey, my buddy went missing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're a disenfranchised group of people, and they are, unfortunately, easy prey.
Exactly. The perfect target, really.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So when Cameron's saying there was some speculation this had something to do with the Midnight Society, that's what we're talking about. Because I feel like we've brought it up a couple times, but we haven't actually discussed what that is.
Yeah, to be honest, I cannot find a single thing about what the alien had posted.
Yeah.
But the stories that I've heard were that it was talking about experiments going on in Tempe that were between that and a sister base, or their main base in the Tonto Forest.
Yikes.
And they were taking people, and they would find people that were drifters and people that no one would notice and take them for these experiments, which nobody's really made the connection, I don't think, about the Midnight Society, but isn't it funny that there's that?
It would fit, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure would.
And the Tonto National Forest, the deserts of Arizona are freaking massive. I have often thought to myself, if I ever needed to kill somebody, I would definitely just dump them in the desert somewhere.
She's often thought that.
I think about it a lot.
She shares it with us, too.
Don't worry, I haven't killed anybody yet, but someday if I need to.
She takes her knife out and she just sort of like, man, if I do it.
Well, don't dump anybody into Canyon Lake because they are going to be draining it.
Ooh, I bet they're going to find so many bodies out there. Jesus.
Mindy, what did you do?
Just saying.
Not me. I'm just saying.
They're doing some dam work on the dam between Canyon Lake and Apache Lake, and they're going to be draining the lake to do that work.
Yeah, it's a graveyard, especially for where the border crossings are. There are mass graves out there. I feel like it's just sort of a known fact. People get abandoned in the desert, and it's too big to really search reasonably.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's compelling. That's weird.
Yeah.
That is a weird story, Cameron. Thank you for telling us that one.
It was shocking.
Well, I have a weird story too. According to the article I found, this is one of the more famous alien abductions. This was Antonio Vilas Boas, and this was on October 16th, 1957. And while working at night on his family farm in Brazil, 23-year-old Antonio claimed to have been abducted by extraterrestrials. He saw a large egg-shaped craft with a cupola on top containing a rotating red light. The cupola is like the top, I guess.
Cupola. Okay. Small dome-like architectural structure on top of a roof that provides light and ventilation or serves as a lookout.
So it's an egg-shaped craft that has a weird dome on top of it. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Is that what he's describing?
This is our vocabulary word of the day, cupola.
Cupola.
Thanks for the definition, Abby. So the craft landed by extending 3 legs. Okay, so is this the base of Mork and Mindy? Because didn't Mork from Ork travel in an egg?
Oh, he did, right? I think it was an egg.
It was an egg. Okay, so the craft landed by extending 3 legs.
We've just aged ourselves.
Totally. After which several 5-foot-tall beings disembarked. Antonio tried to escape on his tractor, but the engine died. He continued on foot. He was eventually captured by these beings who wore gray overalls and helmets. He was taken aboard their ship, whereupon they took off their helmets. They had small blue eyes and communicated via a series of animal-like grunts. Once aboard the ship, Antonio was stripped naked and covered in a gel. He was led into a large semicircular room through a doorway adorned with red symbols. Antonio was later able to recall those symbols with perfect clarity. The beings then took blood samples from his chin before moving him to a third room where he was left alone for a half an hour. A gas was pumped into the room, which made Antonio feel nauseated. After this bout of nausea abated, the doors to the room opened, and a naked female alien of the same species joined him. Antonio recalled that she was very attractive with platinum blonde hair and red pubic hair.
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Somebody's been watching Star Trek. This pressure's not green.
What's gonna happen next?
She had a pointed chin and large cat-like eyes. Antonio felt a powerful attraction to this woman. They engaged in intercourse, wherein instead of kissing him, she nipped him on the chin.
Again, the chin.
And that's where they took the blood samples, was the chin.
I don't get, there's not even veins there, really. Like, how do you get blood samples from there? Anyway, continue. I don't know. Strange.
After the sexual act, the woman smiled, patted her belly, and pointed upwards before leaving. Antonio was given back his clothes, shown around the ship before being escorted off. When Antonio got home, he realized 4 hours had passed.
Oh.
A medical examination after Antonio made the claims showed that he was suffering from a mild dose of radiation sickness.
Compelling. Whoa. Okay.
So that's that. And
she was like, hey, thanks for the sperm, baby. And then bounce.
Right, exactly. There's the half human alien hybrids that they're planting into society.
Possibly BEKs.
So I'm going to share the why I thought it was French. Here is a French cartoon of the alien that he was.
She looks like an early anime, like before there was anime.
She looks like anime, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the French cartoonist that depicted that.
I bet that was the impetus for so much weird porn. God.
Yeah.
There's so much weird shit out there now. Like, I bet that started some of it.
Happened to a cartoonist.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, JT. Continue. My brain today.
It's about murder and porn.
I'm in a weird place, guys.
Murder and alien porn.
Yeah.
It's not just porn, alien
not just regular porn. We got to make it weird.
Okay. So this one comes from the early 2010s. This is from Newcastle, UK. And the gentleman's name is David. He is a father. He described his account somewhere between like 2010 and 2014. They don't give an exact date. David was asleep in his bedroom when he suddenly woke up, feeling an eerie sense of presence. At the foot of his bed, he saw a humanoid figure described as green-gray in color with large almond-shaped black eyes, a classic description of a gray alien. The entity was small, approximately 3 to 4 feet, with a smooth, hairless head and thin frame. Before David could fully react, he began moving towards him at what he described as colossal speed, almost instantaneously closing the distance. The encounter ended abruptly at this point, with David either losing consciousness or the entity vanishing. Shocked and disoriented, David immediately turned to his bedside light to check his surroundings. His young son, sleeping in a nearby room or bed, the details are slightly different from different tellings, was undisturbed and unaware of any event. Still rattled, David grabbed his phone and posted about the experience on Facebook in real time about 2 a.m., seeking validation or to process what had just happened. He noted in his account that he was not prone to believing in UFOs or aliens prior to this event, emphasizing his skepticism to lend credibility to his story. Then the next morning, he discovered a physical mark on his body that he believed was connected to the encounter. Specifically, he found a red, welt-like mark on his chest, described as raised and slightly irritated, which had not been present the previous night. He took photos of this mark and shared them online, likely in UFO-related forums or social media groups, to document the experience and seek feedback from others. He stressed that he was telling the truth and was not seeking attention, noting the mark as a tangible piece of evidence that unsettled him further.
You have thoughts, Mandy?
I wonder about them. I mean, who's to say it wasn't a bug bite? I don't know. I don't want to.
That wasn't there the day before. I guess just that as a piece of evidence amongst others in the in the context of this situation.
Yeah, if that's the tangible evidence that something really happened.
It's not really evidence.
It's a little flimsy for me. I just, like, I don't want to discredit anybody's experience. He said it was a red mark on the chest. Like it was raised and irritated. Like that could be literally a bug bite.
Circumstantial, but still, I'd say in the story, that's something. Like, I would rather theorize about what it could be if it weren't a bug bite, because I mean, obviously we could explain it away, but
yeah,
what would they have been doing? Like, why would that be there?
Yeah, it is weird.
There's
branding him
critics that say that this could be like a sleep paralysis type thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what any story could be.
He doesn't talk about being paralyzed ever.
Yeah.
You know, and the mark on his chest could be a stress-induced skin reaction, you know, some sort of injury he didn't know about, or bug bite. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can say. There's nobody else that saw it other than himself. So either he is attention-seeking and trying not to be attention-seeking, or it happened.
I definitely feel like the stigma is still there. Anybody who talks about I was abducted by aliens, that has not stopped. People still think alien abductees are crazy for the most part. I don't think that stigma has gone away. So I am inclined to think people aren't coming forward just for the giggles. I think people come forward when they really believe something happened. So I do want to give him that benefit. You know, I'm disinclined to believe that anybody who has a story like that the majority of people who have a story like that are doing it because they're attention seeking. I think they do it because something happened.
Yeah.
They believe something happened.
I'm immediately getting hit by a supercell.
Yeah, it rained like crazy here just a minute ago, so I'm not surprised.
It's like a swirling mass that just went right over our house here.
Wow.
Such a beautiful day.
It's like a whiteout right now.
The kids asked for jackets yesterday.
Just rain.
It was 74 and it was raining. They're like, I'm cold. Can I have a jacket? I'm like, it's 74. You're fine. Anyway.
Hilarious.
That was a good story, JT. That was a good discussion.
I would like to theorize about what it is. Do you think it could be a genetic thing?
That is interesting. Why does it seem like so often these alien abduction accounts,
they're inoculating us?
Yeah, they're either doing something with us or they're taking DNA or like what is, like if we take it as a plausible thing that is actually happening to all of these people, which I think I'm inclined to say is possible. It's hard for me, but I can't discount it entirely. Then what is going on? It does seem like there is some level of experimentation or something that's happening.
Study.
So what is it?
Yeah, research.
Yeah. Which is what I was trying to say before, is like, obviously this would be easy to explain away. A bug bite, sleep paralysis. There's a million and one things that it could be. But if it were real, that's interesting. Because what were they doing? Why is there this mark? And I think that would be something fun to theorize about, because I think that it's like a sort of inoculation that they're doing, or they're doing some sort of genetic hybridization or something like that. And there's stories that go along with that from other people. One
of my favorite shows to turn on the background is Ancient Aliens. That's what it's called. And it's on, what is it? The History Channel? A&E? I don't remember, but it's freaking amazing.
History.
That one Greek dude with the hair, whose name I can't remember right now. He's been on that show for like 20 years.
Serentopoulos.
Yeah, that guy. He's the best. Everything is always aliens.
Yeah. And you're crazy if you don't think that.
Well, I'm not saying it's aliens, but...
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's aliens.
Right.
What else could it be?
In that show, they say ancient alien enthusiasts theorize that. And they're talking about themselves. They are citing themselves within the show.
It's their own little fan club.
He looks like an alien too. I mean,
but it is interesting how many stories in history, if you decided to look at them that way, could be interpreted to support the alien theory. That's why I'm saying, like, this whole topic could be an entire sub-series of episodes that we could do. Like, there is so much to uncover.
Oh, for sure. It could be a whole podcast.
Yes, it could. And in fact, it is it is.
Yeah. Numerous. So here's a thought, okay? JT told the two different stories. The one was made to have intercourse with the alien, and then the other one's getting poked and prodded. So what if they're coming back and they're checking on their spawn and it's all just data?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, shall we close that one out?
I think so. This was fun. We're trying, listeners, to be better about keeping our episodes shorter than an hour because Abby and I are overwhelmed with the editing. Oftentimes, you don't know this, but our shows are more than 2 hours long, and that is a struggle to edit. So,
well, I think that I would be remiss if we didn't mention one of the most famous abduction stories of all time, Betty and Barney Hill.
Yep, for sure. Like, it
Not
really
going to tell the story, but just everybody knows that it's pretty.
It sort of kicked everything off.
Pretty famous.
Yeah,
well, obviously,
like it was a big deal.
Include that as a mini because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
What?
Yeah, Cameron told a portion of their story in our UFO episode, I think. Right, Cameron?
Yeah, we've told it on
I
before.
listened to that, but I don't remember it.
Betty and Barney Hill was in the 60s, I think, right? Was their abduction
71?
was in the 60s.
61.
And it wasn't the first account because there's lots of accounts that predate it, but it was the first mainstream media account that got lots of attention and really popularized the alien abduction thing. It like really kicked everything off. Okay. So that was a very big deal story.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, JD.
Well, thank you for clearing that up for me. And thank you, Wanderers, for listening, as always.
And fellow murderers.
Wanderers and or murderers.
Is that a double entendre, everybody?
Maybe.
I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately because I just haven't. So it's been terrible.
You're sleep deprived?
Again. What? Yeah.
Again? Still?
Okay.
Too many of those hiding too many bodies, I see.
This has been another episode of
The Wandering Crow.
What the
Go faster.
Why are you doing that, man?
We're waiting for you to join us.
You knew it was coming.